Test one, two, test one, two, test one, two. Hello, everyone. I'd just like to welcome you to Amir Shakur Speaks Show with your host, Amir King Shakur. That'll be me. Hey, listen, friends, you know how we do. Today, we're opening up on a community conversation about the multiple problems in urban America. I'm going to say that again one more time for those who did not hear me. This show is about community problems with urban America. Okay? So with that in mind, we're going to bring you the best urban information, faith, politics, all done from an inspirational perspective. If you have not done so, please like and subscribe. Tonight's show is sponsored by the Chicago Urban Daily and the Thornton Township Citizens Action Committee. I want to say a shout out to all of my peeps out there. And I just want to make sure that if you're in the chat room, feel free to join the conversation. I'd like to welcome everyone. And, hey, you very, very welcome, very, very necessary. This is an open forum. This is an open forum for all. And I just want to add, as a note, the motivation tonight is, we got a lot of problems in urban America, y'all, and we got to get this stuff fixed. We have to get it together. People get ready because there's a train coming, and I think the train is already here. And the brother who I'm bringing on, he's going to talk from a standpoint of through the struggle. I think we have had a lot of similar experiences, but I never want to take away anybody's personal experience. And I can tell you, he's a prominent, standing person. And I just wanted to, just give him a little bit of an introduction before we bring him on. So let me do that first. And again, if you guys have not liked, please hit that like button. Please keep an open mind because again, we want to bring resolution to our communities. Okay. So now that I did that sweep, I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about our guest. Now, our guest is someone who I've been notating and watching for a while, probably the better point of 6 or 7 years. Jacob Blake Sr. He's a prominent social justice activist, the father of Jacob Blake Jr., who was left paralyzed after he was being shot in Kenosha, Wisconsin by police in 2020. Following the shooting, Blake Sr., our brother, became a prominent social and justice figure, prominent around the country, speaking out against police brutality and racial injustice. Public protests regarding the Blake shooting occurred in many cities around the country: New York, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, Atlanta. And the outcry was very, very, very high, with the protests that followed it led to the Kenosha County declaring a state of emergency overnight on August 24th. And after that, police vehicles were damaged. I mean, fire trucks set on fire. The local courthouse was vandalized. Municipal buildings were uprooted. And the officer was not himself. Officers were knocked down with bricks. Tear gas was employed. I mean, it was a state of civil disobedience, like you normally see Rodney King, i.e., civil rights. I think that from what I saw, my subjective opinion, if you put a picture of the Selma March in this particular event side by side and made it black and white, you probably wouldn't have even known the difference, is what I'm saying. And we don't want to undermine nobody's struggle, but we can say that the severity was definitely there, and this gentleman lived through it all. Where was I at? So the numerous calls came out about a lot of things happening on that point in time. The Wisconsin National Guard was deployed to maintain public safety. Up to about 200 members were deployed. It might have been more than that. I'm gonna let Jacob correct me on the numbers here, and if I have anything out of order, I've asked him to make it clear because we got to put the right information out there, y'all. So August 24th, the protesters set fires to businesses and looted the businesses on August 25th. And rightfully so. So we're not focusing on the negative part. We're going to focus on the passion behind what they were doing. And August 25th, the protest fires came throughout Wisconsin, Kenosha. Some key facts that I wanted to notate. The backdrop of this was there was a young, misdirected provocateur. I don't even say he's young anymore because he's of age, by the name of Kyle Rittenhouse, from Antioch, Illinois, a little about, maybe 30 minutes to an hour outside of Chicago, who went down to the protests and invoked his amendment, the constitutional rights to shoot people, and fatally shot 3 of the protesters. It's hard for me to get into because even with me going back and seeing that, the level of passion, the level of anger that I had with that incident, and the young man, with the help of Donald Trump, the Trump administration, and others, was exonerated from the murder of these people. And again, I want to say this happened on the backdrop of the protests with the Blake family, Blake Sr. and his son Blake Jr. Again, it's something that for me, it's a notation in our history. So with that being said, I don't want to get too far into the Rittenhouse aspect of it, but I definitely want you to welcome with an open heart, open mind, Jacob Blake Sr. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak with you this evening.
Amen. Amen. Well, you know what? I think it's all good. because I knew I was going to meet you in the field one of these days. And I finally got the opportunity to do it. And as we were speaking, we came up with a lot of commonalities. So, we definitely got some conversations to be had. We know
Oh,
that, but
definitely, definitely.
again, God is always orchestrating from behind the scenes, I believe. So let's talk a little bit about the introduction, because I'm going to allow you to just do an opener, and then I'm going to segue into currently what's going on. But you know I I just want to I want you to direct your experience and how this experience has been, because you came from the standpoint of someone who was possibly potential. Well, you know what? No, no, I'm going to correct myself, because you have always been involved in liberation in all of your life because of your family, right? Your
Correct,
family
correct.
upbringing. So let's talk a little bit about that. I think that's good for people to notate. We can start on that note.
My father, Reverend Jacob Blake, Reverend Jacob S. Blake, was a civil rights activist, and he was very integral with Jesse and Breadbasket in Chicago, as
Hmm.
well as he marched from Selma to Montgomery, as well as he was on that Edmund Pettus.
Hmm.
So, my father marched for open housing on the north side in Evanston, so that black people could live anywhere they wanted to live.
Hmm.
And it was a fight for justice his whole life. He went to the grave fighting for black justice and freedom, and it instilled in me to fight.
Hmm.
It gave me the fight. He was an AME minister, and he believed in justice and freedom, and us exercising our constitutional rights as human beings. And he gave me a lot of the fight that I have came from my father, and I owe him the thanks for what he's given me.
Amen, amen. And so just for clarification, and you said it very well, the legacy of activism from his own father, the late Reverend Jacob S. Blake. Reverend S. Blake. Was it AME Episcopal? Was it the AME
It
Episcopal?
was AME,
Okay.
African Methodist Episcopal.
That's it. That's it. That's what we called it. So you're talking to former Bishop Greg L. Greer. So I'm just, I know the struggle's real. But I am a
Right.
5%er. So I'm kind of in a whole nother phase of the struggle. But I get my orders from God. So I'm just
Right.
letting
Well,
you know.
I'm a Sunni Muslim, so
Amen.
I
Hey,
I,
hey.
I dig it. I understand.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Peace
Wa
be unto
alaikum
you.
assalam.
Hey, listen. So let's go into a little bit about the situation, and I'm gonna while we're talking, I'm gonna bring up this picture here. This, for those who don't know, is this is Jacob Blake Jr. and it's not the best picture, but let's talk about when what develops in your mind when you see this picture and what you were going through and at that moment when this happened in August 2025. I mean August 25th, excuse me, of 2020. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I don't see the picture, but
Oh, okay. Let me see if I could. Can you see it now?
no, I don't.
Wow. Let me see. Maybe they have
But
it blocked.
I can if you describe it, I can tell you how I
Well, this
see it.
picture is a picture of your son in the hospital bed. He has mint green scrubs on, and he's looking. Um, I'm wondering why you can't see that picture though. That's bothering me. Uh, let me see. Go ahead and speak on just what happened, your
When
mindset as far as what you were going through during the picture. And again, this picture is your son on the hospital bed in the
at
scrubs.
at that time, when you see that picture, he's gone through his surgery to save his life. So he's been through the surgery, and the rough part of the mountain, so to say, was he had already climbed.
Amen.
So he was holding on for dear life, and
Amen.
I was driving from Charlotte, North Carolina, all the way to Milwaukee, so I could be there with him. And it was the longest drive of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I had seen the video.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I'm like, my boy's not gonna be there when I get there, and I'm having all these different ebbs and these emotions are just, man, I'm mad, I'm sad, I can't sleep, I can't rest, I just couldn't, I needed to get to Wisconsin, and I wasn't satisfied until I got there. And then when I got there, uh, I, I I I saw him. They took me up to see him, and he was paralyzed. But
Mm-hmm.
they had him shackled to the bed, and my first. Now I'm way past angry because my son is shackled to the. He cannot move his lower limbs.
Mm-hmm.
What was the purpose of them shackling my son to the bed? Well, see, psychologically, they always want to have something over you.
Right.
And cognitive dissonance is something that they maneuver and shape their whole world around what they can make you believe. So when I got there, that was, I told them, you need to unshackle. My son's not a threat. Why do you when you they had a guard over him and shackles. So we went to the in front of the board of the hospital, and the next day he didn't have shackles on. But you have to learn how to fight for yourself, because no one is going to fight for you the way that you're going to fight for you.
Yeah.
And being blessed to have the ability to communicate. And when I went to college, I remember one of my professors, his name was Dr. Edie. He
Mm-hmm.
was my speech professor. And he said, Blake, you have the gift of the gab, son. You have the
Yeah.
gift of the gab. And if I could just get you to speak uh, and read these books. He would give me these books to read, and I was Othello, and I was a thespian for him. I acted in a couple of his plays, but pronunciation and how to communicate with people to be understood,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding what I was saying, and a comprehension of how it should be said,
Mm-hmm.
so that people uh, it's enough for us to get up there and mumble mouth in front of the camera, and I never wanted to be a mumble mouth. I never wanted to be. Uh, I didn't want people to be shaking their head when I was talking. I wanted to be nodding because they could understand me,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought
Well,
that was very important
amen.
because at that time when that had happened to my son, there hadn't been too many fathers that had stood up in the forefront for their sons or for their daughter. Or so I felt I felt obligated to my people, obligated to my community, obligated to make a positive presence, and a presence, a male presence, to be felt.
Amen.
And I thought that that would be important for our
Mm-hmm.
younger generation, our younger people, to see a father be able to articulate himself and not fearful of the pink toes. Now I'm gonna be nice because I said I wouldn't say it. I told my sister I wasn't gonna get on here and call him what I usually call him. So I'll call him pink toes.
Well,
So
let me say this. Can I chime in right there? By the way, before I say this, can you see that picture that I have up on screen now?
no,
Oh
no.
wow. Okay,
I see
so
myself twice.
oh, you see yourself twice. Wow, that must be
I'm
some
down in
kind
the
of.
bottom and then I'm up in the corner.
Oh wow. Okay, let me see. What about this? Can you see it now? Okay. Well, you know what? What I'm gonna do is
And I don't want to lose my connection, so I'm
yeah,
not
no,
gonna.
no. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it alone. We gonna keep rolling. Live is a mother sometimes, but we get through it. If you've been through it and you're a pro, you're gonna get through it, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
so let's say this. Let's say this. Um, I'm gonna show this video of on the backdrop, and I know that for a fact that throughout interviews around the country, Good Morning America, a lot of the interviews that you did on a national and international level about your son, you said that you ain't the demanding accountability because it was personal. This has become a not only a fight, but it's changed your life, and you have stood up and you have connected to stand up for civil rights around the country. So we commend you for that. And we commend you because you get it honestly, just from who your dad is and your upbringing. So, maybe the point to where there's always a premonition, and there's always a point to where certain people were destined for certain things. And, unfortunately, through the tragedy, through the pain, this has changed your life, but your life has changed because you are meant to stand up for others. How do you feel with that statement and that statement being made?
Well, I take it back to when my father passed away when
Hmm.
I was 9 years old. The first Christmas that he had passed away, um, I told my mother, I did not want her to buy me any gifts. I
Mm.
shoveled snow all winter and I bought each person in the family 3 to 4 gifts. And I
Mm.
wanted the tree to look full because it's not what you receive, it's what you give. And I feel the importance of giving.
Hmm.
And I give myself to the people because it's for the people. It's the power of the people. The people have the power and they have to know they have the power. So you have to give yourself and you keep giving until you have nothing left to give.
Hmm.
And I agree with what you just give, man. You
Well,
give, and that's the position that I come from. I come from giving and giving love, and you try to give everybody a piece of you. And some people may not be as strong as you are, but if you give them just that little, you don't know what they need that day. But a smile and a greeting goes a lot further than than pessimism.
let me ask you this because I know we're on the time frame, but I want to talk a little bit about because I want to go back, and I appreciate that sentiment from you because we know that you've been on the front lines. But let me ask you this: if you had the opportunity to talk to this young man, and I don't know what you would call him, this Kyle young man, because it seems like to me like that chapter was an unexpected chapter, but it changed the whole dynamic of what was going on with your son as well, in an indirect sort of way. But if you were to address him right now and say something to him, what would you say?
Uh, I mean, what to me he doesn't even matter.
Okay.
To me, he doesn't even matter, man. He's an aftermath of He's an overplay for the underlay. He does not matter to me. I care about the families that he took those people away from.
Mm-hmm.
I care about those. I don't even speak his name
Amen. Amen. Amen.
because I don't believe he needs his name spoken,
Amen.
because he took something away from those people that he had no right to take from them. And then the same pink toes that now they said the man that got killed day before yesterday in Minnesota, who
Mm-hmm.
takes a gun to a protest? Well, that dude took a rifle and a sidearm to the protest.
Can, do you mind if, while you, not to interrupt you, but with for the purposes of time, I just want to show people, because they don't, just for purposes of illustration alone, totally respect what you're saying. The striking undertone has to be given birth to. We have to show people what it is and what it looks like, because if we don't call it out every time, then some people fall for that okey doke. And I'm gonna go a little bit further than him. I'm not gonna say his name, but what I'm gonna say is, I'm gonna say provocateur. I'm gonna say, a lot of times in life people get what they're gonna get. And if you sell your soul to Satan, Satan gonna cash in on that ass sooner or later.
Sooner
But
or later.
so he gonna cash in. But I just want to show the video about that night, that those people were lost their lives, and I just want to show that, if you don't mind. And then I want to get back to the things that are pertinent. Okay, if we can
No
take
problem, brother. No
okay, I
problem, brother.
appreciate you. Just out of respect, my brother. Hold on one second, and give me 1 second. All right, can you see that screen? I'm hoping you
Yes.
can.
Yes, I can
Okay,
see that.
good. Let's go back, and because I want people to see, this is what happened with these protesters who were shot by then 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, protesting the shooting of Jacob's son, and this was in 2020, I believe August 25th. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's go back. Let me go back. Okay. But I'm just gonna stop right here. This part is very important to notate. This is a 17-year-old kid carrying this rifle. And so someone just said, hey, he just shot some people. But do you see what's going on here? Now if that was me or Jacob carrying a shotgun, I don't even think we would have went 3 steps before we was mowed down in that middle of that street right there. That's
Oh,
just my opinion.
most definitely. You already understand the dynamics. That's why you're showing it.
Let me show that one more time, because I think with the technical, I think I didn't show. But let me just show that part, and then we're gonna get off of it so people can see it. This is the beginning of it, y'all. Mm. Nope. Oh, here it is. Right. I'm sorry. Right there. There it is. And he's even putting his hands up for surrender.
Hey, dude right here just shot them. Dude right here just shot all them down there. That dude just shot them up there. That dude right here. Yeah.
They didn't arrest him. They didn't do nothing, man.
They didn't even. I mean, he's literally waving at the police officers right now. Crazy.
That's
So
crazy work.
crazy.
That's crazy work, man.
I mean,
Crazy work, man. And he walked from the state line over there. His mother drove him to the state line. Then he got out of the car with his gun and walked.
mm, mm, mm. Jacob, did the families, any of those families, did you have a conversation of the people who were murdered at the protest? Did you have any? I know you were going through a lot of trauma at
I
that
reached
point.
out. I reached out to the families, and they wrote me. They wrote me, and
Take your time, brother.
see, man. See the real. This stuff affects you, and you try to act like it does not affect you. But those people were protesting for my son, and they gave their lives for my son. And I'll never be able to thank them. And I'm very thankful that they saw fit to go out there and represent my son. And because we couldn't understand how you could just shoot him and then keep shooting him, and like he was a dog, and they sacrificed their lives because they did not believe that was supposed to happen to him. Because there was nothing that justified it. There's nothing that he could have done that justified what they did to him. Nothing. Nothing. But at the same time, my pain turned into purpose. So no matter how painful it is, and yeah, and yes, you get emotional sometimes, but your purpose is for the people.
Amen.
You know, your purpose is for you. Can never tell me that Tamir Rice knew that was his last day on earth, man,
Mm.
in that park playing cowboys and Indians.
And
That
just
policeman started shooting before that car came to a complete halt.
and
You
just
can, you,
you go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to
no, go
interrupt
ahead,
you.
brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I really wanted to say, just so you know, please excuse me, brother, please. Just so you know, I assisted Samaria with the attorneys who helped fight her case. I went down there myself and personally was one of the lead advocates for. She told me she had connected with you like a few years ago. And a lot of times when these families get involved and these things happen, even in your case, because it everything goes viral and it becomes a maze of just, you pull this direction, that direction. So it's definitely a time. But going back to your son's case, and then the tragedies that happened because of that provocateur. I mean, I could not, imagine, the level and I do appreciate the fact that you have turned your purpose into pain. You know, I need to say this because I know I saw a video with you earlier today and you made some very specific statements about what's going on in Minnesota right now, and I really want you to address that as well. And we're going to do that before we get off within the next 20 minutes. If you can give me 20 more minutes, if you're going to make it through, I would say the truth is that we need people to understand is the system, the deep rooted, the racist system that has existed for hundreds of years is still very much at play to date, and it has not changed. Racial inequality in America has a parallel and it's alive and well. By definition, it might be happening to some folks, but to be honest with you, the race and class are not the same thing, but the system itself, defined in itself, is still alive and well and kicking, and it's got teeth.
Yeah,
It's got teeth under this
Jim
racist
Crow,
administration.
Jim Crow has just got a different name and it's orange.
Mhm.
Jim Crow's not in the South anymore. It's all over.
Amen.
And you're dealing with it face to face, and it's in your face, and it's no longer behind closed doors, or it's no longer it's these racist white people are what they are, and they can't hide it anymore. They don't even feel like they need to hide it anymore. Stephen Miller in order for them to call that nurse a terrorist,
I'm gonna add his picture to the stage.
you
Uh, Alex Purdy,
you
the
you're
nurse
gonna
who was killed.
call you're gonna call him a terrorist,
Amen.
right?
Hmm.
No sir, no sir, no
Hmm.
sir.
They did.
How could he be a terror? He never had his hand on his own weapon. He never touched his own weapon, man. But see what now they're asking you for empathy and sympathy for. They never had sympathy or empathy for Eric Gardner. They tried to pretend like Eric Gardner was not in a chokehold. No matter how many times you saw him in a chokehold, they tried to tell you he was not in a chokehold. That was not a chokehold. That was a chokehold. I said earlier, cognitive dissidents.
Hmm.
They lie, and especially this orange dude. He believes that the more he tells you a lie is going to become the truth. Remember, his press secretary said it was an alternative fact. An alternative fact is a lie. The alternative to a fact is an untruth.
Well, can I chime in? I want to say this, and I want to be very clear, just so people know. The orange dude is the current occupant of the United States of America. I'm not going to call him my president, and I know you ain't going to call him president, even though
No,
he
sir.
is the president. He's the president. But the urban community, the black community, the Latino community, who are now understanding, and they have to understand through attrition, that the one-sided rhetoric of law and order, that unbalanced scales of justice, those are unbalanced for a reason. And it's been deployed, and it was deployed and used by Southern segregationists of the Jim Crow era. And it's become more attractive because of that, what you say, that orange man, and that President Trump, in Americans who are, it used to be covert, but now it's overt, outright racial discrimination.
It's
So when you
outright.
turn,
Outright.
on the TV and you see some of these ICE guys who get hired, these cowboys, and a lot, I believe subjectively, that basically these is January 6th protesters who they got badges and a job and a paycheck now, and they still keep creating havoc. But that's my thing. But there was a stream today that I just saw. And I always, as a journalist, I always verify. So I'm gonna say allegedly, because I didn't verify this, but Mr. Trump was whistling to the Proud Boys, saying that he hopes that there won't be a midterm 2026 election, and he's proud of his boys, in quotation marks, meaning Proud Boys, that they're doing a good job in Minnesota.
Well,
So
I mean, obviously, bro, we all have to be the realization of who these guys are, but there's an old saying that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So the people that they have, there's people that look like you and me, but they support that orange dude. So he's gonna gather the ones that are weak minded and put them all together, because he's hoodwinked the poets, the poor people. He's hoodwinked them because he's absolutely done nothing for them. And they're going to lose their insurance and their Medicaid and their food stamps quicker. There's more of them on aid than there are black people, man, because of their numbers.
As far as Trump and this mega movement and these racist neocons who want to change, who want to turn back the clock to Jim Crow America, if they had their way, they put us all in chains. I say to them, you're an error, because history has shown us time and time again, that the struggle for justice has to be affected by, subjected by, and determined by people who you can put chains on. You can't put. We've already been down that road. It didn't work in Jim Crow America. It didn't work in Nazi Germany. It didn't work in It didn't work back in the ancient times. Because the things that are happening is when people rise above and beyond, it's hard to put them in chains. So my thing is, if you go to 26 January 2026, and you look at a third of the world looks like you and me. So they are in error, because you can't go back. We're not going back to the 1800s. And these statements are not statements, because we know for a fact that America is more brown than anything. And the future of America is what it looks like. It's brown. So my thing is that they can't turn back the hands of time and stop nature and the universe. And if they can do it, then I'm going to give them credit, and I'm going to bow down and say, hey, you did something that,
And look, there's only
hundreds of years of history couldn't do.
There's only 15,000 ICE officers. There's only 15,000 of them. We outnumber them.
Yeah.
We outnumber them, man.
Yeah.
Border Patrol and ICE officers, 15,000.
Yeah.
That's why they can only do one city. They can't do two or three cities
Yeah.
because they don't have the bodies to do it. They can only mess. I almost cussed. I'm sorry. They can only mess with Venezuela because they can't go after the bigger fish in the pond. You understand?
Yeah.
Venezuela can't defend themselves.
Hmm.
There's nobody on this side of the water got enough ammunition to defend. Cuba got more strength than they do.
Yeah. Let me do this real quick, and then I'm gonna ask you some questions, and then I'm gonna give you the platform to say everything you have to say within the next 10 minutes. But what an honor to your father. So this person, Ramona, she's one of our VIPs, but she said, you are an honor to your father. So just want to let you know that. And then welcome, Jacob. Thank you for sharing your story and standing up. We recognize you for the leader that you are and the leader that you become. So if you're just joining us, we are rapping, but the story, the story is that this gentleman has stood on the forefront of social justice because of tragic circumstances that happened to his son, Jacob Blake Sr., the father of Jacob Blake Jr., out of Kenosha, Wisconsin. And we're talking about a tragedy of huge proportion, not just his son, but others whose life was given because of racism, because of racist provocateurs, and even in the standpoint of then president of the United States, which we should have got him out the first time. Donald Trump got involved, and I think that he moved some things around, but obviously we can't prove that unless we can prove that. But I will say that the good thing that's come out of this is we have you now on the front lines, my brother. So let me ask you a few questions. And what change would you like to see in your lifetime? If there was any one particular thing, what change would you like to see?
I would like to see more brown senators.
Okay.
I would like to see more brown people involved in politics.
Amen.
Even though I don't know why people think we don't matter, I just wish we would be more active in the political realm.
So, what excites you about becoming who you become, an advocate for cause? What is the thing like when you wake up in the morning? You say, you know what, I'm doing this. I did this. Is there any one particular moment or anything, any one particular piece that motivates you to continue on?
It's a sound. It's a moan that mothers make when they lose their child. And I hear that sound. It haunts me every morning. And I hear it over and over again. It's a moan that they make. And it drives me because I don't want that sound. I'm tired of that sound. I want to wipe that sound out. I want to wipe it out. That's what drives me.
We blessing. Thank you for that. And let me ask you these last two questions. If you were talking to young people, young people today, what would you tell them, or what are the conversations that you have to help them empower themselves? Like I have a 15-year-old grandson, and younger than that, I have a 6-year-old granddaughter, and there's a conversation that we have to have in our community that other communities don't have to have. But with that in mind, I mean, is there anything that you say to the young people? Because, the struggle is with them and they are our future, but we got to make sure that we're giving them the information for survival, the information that not only empowers them, but we got to help save these young folks. What would you say to them?
Well, they have to understand how important they are. That it's not about me. It's all about them.
Hmm.
It's about what they give back. What you give back.
Yeah.
You have to give back. They have to understand the importance of giving back, the importance of community,
Hmm.
chuma, of the importance of it, and the blessings that they'll receive when they give back,
Hmm.
and staying positive, because it gets it can get real heavy on these young people, man,
Hmm.
and they can get negative real quick.
Yeah.
But if they learn how to stay positive and how to hold it in the road when it gets real bumpy and the ride is not smooth, they have to learn how to hold on to that wheel and don't let go, don't let go, don't let go.
Yeah. Let me ask you this one last question, and then I think we're gonna allow you to, like 2 minutes to say what you have to say, anything that's on your heart. But how do you ensure that your efforts stay centered? How do you make sure that that there's a purification check? Because what happens sometimes, and we talked a little bit about examples, brother, but when you get that attention and that camera comes to you, and there's been those who have forgotten about the cause, and they kind of become something else, and I don't see that in you. I don't. And just the 50 minutes that I've been speaking to you, I can almost guarantee you that that's not you. So how do you make sure that your efforts center the voices of the most marginalized, and it stays there in your
Well,
direction
you
and staying
you
center focus?
you surround yourself with people who check you. There's a real checks and balance in my life, and my mother being my biggest checker, and my sister being my balance,
Mm,
and my sister being Bianca Austin, who is the aunt of Breonna Taylor. We balance each other out. And you have to surround yourself with people like that in order for you to understand that you are just a vessel. You're not bigger than anybody. There's no big eyes and little U's. That comes from where I originated. There's no big eyes and no little U's.
mm,
Together we can do this.
mm,
And that keeps me grounded, brother.
mm, mm.
And
So you,
being very, very thankful. And I'm thankful to my creator on a daily, 5 times every day. I'm thankful every day.
hey brother, every important event in my life begins and ends by seeking the will of God. So I'm
Mashallah.
standing with you.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
standing with you. So the 2 minutes that I have with you, and then I'm gonna allow you to say whatever you have to say and whatever's on your heart to tell people who, if they're not here now, they're gonna see this video. What would you say to? What do you want to say to the world about you, about your son, about the struggle, about what's going on in America right now, about the fight for urban justice in America? What do you want to say?
When I first stood up for my son, I started receiving death threats 6 years ago. I'm still here because God sees fit for me to still be here. Because they've had ample opportunity to do what they say they were going to do to me. But I feared that not. That means I don't fear any man. My biggest fear is that when I lay it down and when I cash it all in, that I've done enough. I want to be able to lay down and be satisfied that I have done enough, that I've given all that I can give, that I've helped somebody. Because helping someone, there's no satisfaction better than when those families that are in need and need your support and they put their arms around you and they fall into your arms and you hold them up and you prop them up and you say, I'm going to be there for you. I'm here for you. We're going to do this. They have to believe in themselves. But you give that to them when you say that to them. And that's all that's what I exist for. Nothing more, nothing less.
I appreciate the man that you are. I think we're blessed to have you in the struggle and on the front line. I appreciate, and we're going to hold you up. We're going to continue to hold your family up. If someone wants to reach you, how do they get in contact with you?
Jacob Blake number 9 on Instagram, Jacob Blake on Facebook, FamiliesUnited.org. That's how they can get in contact with me. We have a 1-800 number on Instagram for Families United as well as on Facebook.
And I want to thank you again for who you are, and I pray to God that He keeps you and protects you. And I will say this one thing to everyone who's listening, if you are a neutron, if you're on the fence, if you're somebody who thinks the struggle is not real and that you can turn the TV off and it's not going to affect you, I think you got a misdirection, and I think your zeal is misdirected. And you have to look and listen very well to this interview with Jacob and some of the things that he's saying and even his struggle, and then go back and then listen to things from the past, the Tamir Rices, the Eric Gardners, the George Stinney Juniors, and, we can say, although we fought hard to put these names out in the national, international media, we never truly get the opportunity to address the issue where it needs to be. So we want a change. We want to see these young black men stop being murdered and killed and assassinated with impunity. We want to see today, and it might be optimistic, but we want to see the day whereas we can stand up and we can, justify. And here's the thing: statute of limitations for murder is for life, but that it's for life. But then there is even a way to really take, like in the event of some of these people who leave, and we need to sanction their name so people can know this person did wrong in their life. We need that name. So the thing is, i.e. Emmett Tills and whatnot, hey, it's if you don't pay for it in this life, then you can pay for it in the afterlife. But we will say that, just coming back, in the question of Mr. Trump and all of these other racists, again, there's no way that y'all gonna turn back the hands of time to Jim Crow America. People of color in urban America ain't going in chains. We ain't doing it. So you can pray about it, you can think about it, and I will say this. I'm telling you, Jacob, hey, look, I'm going to tell you, and this is not a racist statement, but I'm going to be honest and I'm going to say it. Black folk may not come together to organize, but we shoot down and we're going to come together for a fight. Hey, am I lying?
No, sir. No, sir.
So there is a strong case for impeachment against Donald Trump. And, the approval ratings are down and all that. But we want to say to all of these racists, these neocons, these fascists that, enjoy the short period of time where you're out there and that sort of thing. It's gonna be over with. And we're gonna get on to bigger and better things. So I want everybody to stay encouraged. But make sure we keep the information flowing, y'all, because if we don't talk about these things and bring it down to the conversations, then we can't depend upon the city hall or the state house. Definitely, we can't depend upon the White House. Hell, the block club president will do more for you than the president of the United States now. Just keep it all real. So let's keep our questions, keep our intentions forward focused, and let's keep it about community because the cavalry is us. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, brother?
No,
We the
sir,
cavalry.
you're absolutely right.
Listen, we love you, brother. We appreciate you, and I look forward to forward engagements with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. And listen, y'all. Y'all make sure that y'all hit and like, and you heard this brother here, this man of God, and you heard what he said. If y'all need to get a hold of him, get a hold of him. Let's make sure we support him too. I'm gonna put in the link a way to support his cause to make sure that we are making sure we keeping him forward engaged. He's gonna do that anyway. I know that for a fact. But let's see if we can find ways to continue, just helping this family and just keep lifting up their name. So y'all, thank y'all for listening in. And hey, listen, as y'all know how we do. We appreciate y'all, and let's look forward to continued engagement. All right, peace.
Peace out.